So today, guys, we will be discussing my Premiership predictions and who I think will be champions, who I think will get into Europe, and who I think will be eventually relegated from the top division in Scotland. So if you do enjoy this kind of content, remember to smash that subscribe button and let's dive right into it. I'm just going to go 12th place to 1st place in order. So we're going to start off with 12th place. And I think this is plain and simple, guys. I didn't put much thought into this, which might seem stupid, but I didn't. I just think it's St Johnstone. Went to go and see them in the Championship 2 or 3 times. One was against Thistle and the other one I was against... Oh my god, I forgot. 2 were against Thistle actually, and 1 was against Dunfermline. They're not that great. Obviously, they're losing Josh McPake, which will be a massive miss going into this Premiership season. I know he wants to play more football, but I don't think he'll be able to do that with obviously the budget they have and just the players that they have at their disposal. So I think this is just the easiest choice I had to make in this predictions video. But we now move on to 11th place. This one will surprise people. I think it definitely will raise some eyebrows in case I might be on something, but I'm not. Just what's going on at Hibs. They have made good signings, but in 11th place I've went with Hibs. But it's just, there's something about them. You cannot be losing to a team from Kosovo. And that's not the reason I've done it. It's just they're so inconsistent, and I feel that Aberdeen are not going to be as bad as they have last year. Kilmarnock's not going to be bad as they have last year. Hearts are going to be as good again. We're not going to have. It's going to be very hard for them to get the top 6. But I think 11th place could be a real possibility for Hibs if they don't start being consistent. And allegedly they might be moving to a 3 at the back, which will be quite interesting for a team like Hibs, which is something you need to keep an eye on. But I know this will be controversial to people, but let me know where you put Hibs. But we now move on to 10th place. This is going to be Dundee United. Jim Goodwin has lost a couple of people in the summer, but one of them was not Will Ferry, right? And that's a big boost. And obviously the first couple of fixtures for them it's not very great for them. They've got Rangers at home and they've got a couple of the big boys in the first couple of games, which is not what you always want, but they just feel there's a feeling around Tannadice that they cannot concede as many goals as they did last year, and they were very inconsistent. When they were good at defending, they couldn't be good at attack, and when they were good at attack, they couldn't be good at defending. You never got a mix of both, which Jim Goodwin, he has to do well this summer, and if he doesn't get top 6, I think he'll get the sack. Because Dundee United, with the financial drive that they have, in the transfer market, the players they sign, they should be challenging for the top 6. But they just haven't been able. They just missed out last year, but it was still quite a big thing Falkirk who just came up, so they need to get that, but I just think they will finish 10th this year. Number 9, Kilmarnock. I think this was the last staple. Neil McCann's came in with his idea, he's brought them in, and I think this year will be even better with the attacking style of football that they will be able to play under him. The signings have been getting in as well. A lot of young players. Mind you, they've lost Lewis Mayo and Lyons to Aberdeen, but that's not something to worry about, I think. The recruitment has been very good, bringing back old players, experience. There's a mixed balance. And I just feel like this is their opportunity to push on under Neil McCann, as obviously they had a really bad season last season under Kettlewell. Then Neil McCann kind of revived them, good performances against Celtic. Now he's had his summer to kind of rejuvenate the players, bring in new players and get new obviously opportunities within the club, but that's why I have put them 9th place. Next one is Dundee FC, and that's in 8th place. Why have I put them in 8th place? Well, it's quite simple in my opinion. Stephen Presley last year done wonders at Dundee for what they had at their disposal, and this year it's going to be even harder due to losing Luke Graham. I mean, they've lost McCracken, they've lost a lot of core players. I just think there's going to be an empty gap, but I think Presley's going to be able to pull it off. As that guy on Twitter says, every time there's a manager sacked, he's like outlasted by Presley. It's quite funny, but I think he will do quite well. His style of football's unique. Everybody doubted him in the first season, and I think they'll do even, well, a tiny bit better than they did last season. So I think Presley Ball is definitely going to take some hits this season, but I think going to Celtic Park, getting that out of the way the first game is going to help them quite a bit. Even if they can try and get a point for that game, it's going to be hard because it's Champions Flag Day, but should be in the first day of the season, by the way. It shouldn't be Rangers and Dundee United being open the season split with the Sigma. But that's why I've put them in 8th place. So in 7th place, I've went with John McGlynn's Falkirk. People have been like, but Falkirk have lost Calvin Miller, Barney Stewart, a lot of their core players, Cartwright as well. Why are you putting them in 7th? I'm like, because it's John McGlynn. John McGlynn's not going to bow down. People think Falkirk are going to go down. They're not going down. Falkirk is never going down when John McGlynn's in charge. John McGlynn knows how to run the ship. Most people in the building know how to control that ship, and they know what their plan is. It's the club's 100th and so it's a club anniversary this year, so it makes them even more motivated to do well. I think it's 150. I'm pretty sure it's 150. So it's one of them. They're always going to push on. It might even be 140. I don't actually know about that one, so don't correct me on that one. But they'll be motivated to do well, and they know what they can do with it was mainly a championship squad. The guy, Barney Stewart, came for university football, so they know how to pick up talent. So whether they've done that good this summer, and I will be doing a transfer rating for every club all over my TikTok and YouTube shorts, so look on for that one for each club. But I just think they have that ability to be consistent, and they're not going to have a massive drop off. I know they're going to miss it in top 6, but there is much more reasoning to that than you may think. But I just think John McGlynn, too good to go down. He just knows how to steady the ship, which he done when he came into Falkirk. And but let's move on to our top 6. So 6th place, I've decided to go with the Paisley Saints. Why am I saying that St Mirren are going to go for relegation contenders to the top 6? Well, Craig McLeish is going to bring a revolution to St Mirren, in my opinion. I might be talking about Mars here, but I really do think he will. The players he's signing, his profile, so obvious what he's trying to do. Watch them in the Premier Sports Cup. They're definitely trying to play football this year, whether it's risky or not, which I respect them for doing. I know a big advocate for that in the lower leagues has been Ace Kilbride, and it seems like he's bringing what he done with the academy up to the first team, which I think can only bring good. Obviously, they have lost some big players, like O'Hara. They're going to lose a lot of their core, but they're bringing in younger players to replace that. And one player I do know that I think will relish this opportunity is Paul Nisolo. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's going to be coming on loan from Rangers. Was on loan at I think it was Raith Rovers last year, and he done amazing. So it's whether he can take that step up to the Premiership, and obviously for that bit it's not just one player they're signing, it's the type of, as I said, it's the type of player they're kind of bringing in. It's going to be so, it's like a revolution, as I said at the start. They look like he's gone for a more younger kind of profile of a player. So I think that's good that he's trying to play football. I think they will play football because it just, we've seen what Motherwell could do last year when playing actually football. So, and that's what I think they'll do as well. But moving on to fifth, we have got Motherwell. Obviously, Alfred Johansson's coming in with big shoes to fill. Jens Berthascu obviously left in the summer. It's pity that he did leave. I wish he could have stayed and went to, even if he went to a Celtic or a Rangers. It's just a breath of fresh air, man. But I wish him all the best. But Alfred Johansson is a very similar profile. I'm pretty sure I heard Andy Halliday say he was recommended by Askew. So, I mean, he obviously must be good. And the early signs are he is quite a similar coach in the way his teams play. And with watching Motherwell in Europe, I think they can go again. I know they've lost Just. I know they look like might lose Maz Manisi. I know they lost Stephen Welsh as well. But that was kind of known that was going to happen. But they've recruited quite well as well with Lowry. I think they're signing the players who can kick on their career. And Elliot Watt's a big miss though. But I still think they can make that top 6 and top 5 in particular. But I just think the 4 teams ahead of them will be too big to beat. But I still think they'll have a very good season. I think the Motherwell board know what they're doing, and I think they'll be able to get that out the team. But fourth, we move on to drumroll, Aberdeen, Stephen Robinson, I really think they will push on this year. He's got his summer to bring in players. He's obviously kind of wiped out some of the maybe more players that Aberdeen have had over the last couple of years, like Shinnie. I would never expected him to leave Aberdeen, but he has, because Robinson wanted new, fresh ideas and players into the building, which I respect that. His style of play, once it gets going, is good. In pre-season, they've looked no bad. Obviously, Olisanya missing an absolute sitter was not a sight to see, but apart from that, they do look like a good footballing team again, and I think it's always good when the Aberdeen, your Hearts, your Hibs are strong. Obviously, Hibs are not going to be strong in this prediction, but I think he brings fresh new ideas to Aberdeen, and that's why I have put them in fourth. Signs are good. But in third place, no surprise to anybody, I've decided to go with Heart of Midlothian. I know there's been a lot of change at the club this summer. Derek McInnes leaving, Shanklin leaving, Devlin leaving, Braga's been linked away. It's Craig Halkett's out for a lot of the season. There's so much change going on at Hearts right now. It's obviously looking quite worrying, but Jamestown know what they're doing. I'm sorry, but they do. A lot of the players they've brought in to replace them look quite good. They know it's a point scoring network to pick up their players, so they know who's up and coming and who's going to make big profits for them. Whole point. Johnny Bloom says they can win the league in the next 5 years. We're 1 year off, they came second and they lost it in the last day. So it's not going to be one of the things that's a once in a lifetime. Hearts will be there again, and I think this year, I think it's too soon. I just think it's going to be too soon, just too much turnover. But if they can keep this squad, if this squad does well this year and they can keep everybody next year and reinvest, they will push on eventually. But I just think too much turnover to be challenging for the title. I think they'll be thereabouts for quite a while, like this season. But I just don't think they'll get to that finishing line. I just think the players they brought in, brilliant. Some of them, obviously, there's new midfielders. Obviously, the European result, I don't think that matters. Drumgrats are a very good team, and the way that manager wants to play football is very different to what they've been used to under McInnes. So it will take time to adapt, and I think Hearts fans will need to be patient because it is a project at the end of the day. But we now move on to second. And this is the bit drum roll. Oh, Celtic. Celtic were not going to be second for most of my summer of thinking, because I've been planning this video for a couple of weeks and just thinking in my head about predictions, and Celtic were one of the ones that stood out to me, as in who will they get as manager? They got Martin O'Neill, and then it took time to get Martin O'Neill, and then they've hardly signed anybody. They're taking time to sign people. It's just their board is a big influence in this decision. I honestly think they've made an arse of it completely. I'm not a Celtic fan, but people are like, oh, they've won 14 of the last 15 titles. That's not the point. It's the way the way their board are treating them. Yes, they've just signed Kasper Højgård for £11 million. That's not the point. It's because signing should be done quicker. Martin O'Neill probably was not the first choice for Celtic, and I think this will carry on. If these protests keep happening, it's going to affect the team on the pitch, because we saw last year, until the Green Brigade were in, Celtic were shocking, and as soon as the Green Brigade got back in, the atmosphere got better in the stadium and the team progressed as a whole. So it's one of them. I think it's going to be a lot of off the pitch stuff's going to affect them on the pitch. One thing I will say is I respect Martin O'Neill so much. He's the old style of manager that I like. Brian came for the Brian Clough branch, and he knows that he's in football intelligence is just off the charts. But that takes us on to our champions, and obviously I think it's quite obvious now that I'm going to say Rangers. There's no bias at all here. Obviously, I am a fan of the Rangers, but it's not the fact. I just think they're going to throw the money at it, and it looks like they've spent nearly 14 million this summer. Well, round about that this summer in signings, and they're going to definitely spend more. Until they get to that kind of success, they're going to throw money at it, and that's what Celtic done many years ago when they first started winning the titles consistently. Whoever throws the most money at it mostly wins, and I think they have got captains. I think that's the big thing that Rangers have been missing. Captains. Shatlin's a captain, Dragovic was a captain, Dan Neil was a captain. There's a lot of captains in this team. I think a big influence, if Rashkin stays, I think that'll be even better for them. Cammy Devlin coming in, early signs are looking quite good. They are missing a bit of width, but I think they'll sort that out by the end of the transfer window. And I just think Dermot McGuinness has got a lot of hunger in his belly to win titles, and I think he'll be able to do that this season. But let me know your prediction down below, because obviously my predictions, it's an opinion, it's a prediction. Yours can be different to mine, and we can just debate it, discuss it, and you know what I mean. That's the whole point in doing these kind of videos. So if you do enjoy this video, please smash that like button, leave a subscribe as well, that'd be great. Then an away kit ranking video as well as a lot more English Premier League stuff, because I'm not just doing the Scottish stuff, but I'll be attending a lot more games this year, guys, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.